Women are supposed to obey the heads of the home. A lot of that in these days and these times, it doesn't exist. People want to do what they want to do. Women don't want to obey their husbands, especially, when there's a good man that's really trying to do right, that's really doing the right things, taking care of what's needed to be taken care of in the home, being the head that they're supposed to be, spiritual guidance and everything, taking care of the family, the wives, the kids. And then you got a wife that doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to obey what the man says. Not saying that we're supposed to be rulers over you, but we are the head, and you're supposed to obey us. You don't have to agree, but you're supposed to obey.
Having a good time, man, and representing Dr. King.
Happy King Day. Really, really good to be here. If it wasn't for Dr. King, all of us wouldn't be here at all. So you know what I mean? It's Happy King Day to everybody.
What do you think about on Father's Day when Barack Obama addressed the nation about runaway fathers?
I think we don't have a narrow view of family. We believe in the extended family. And I support families, but I don't want to get it twisted for one moment. We celebrate women because of the contributions they made to the quality of life. I don't know where I would be. Where not for my grandma.
Check out Lil Reggie, support him. Linking education to the next generation.
After like 2 weeks of hard work, he came home, payday, and child support took like pretty much all his check. He was left with $24. And I just remember, the look on his face, like a failure look, like a look that like he failed his family, and the look on my mom's face, and they try to hide it real well, but that was like probably like the first time I seen that type of look on my dad's face, because he was a good actor. He can hide stuff pretty well, but that was like the first time I can really see like the pain behind. I
had a divorce when I was around 3 years old, and as a young kid, I was a father, a daddy's boy, so I've always been sort of closer to my father, and I've always wanted him around more than my mother per se. But as far as growing up, I was always wanting to be around my father. It was hard because my father and my mother, they loved each other, but they just couldn't be with one another. But my father moved on, my mother moved on. My father had to pay child support for me and my twin brother. I know how it feels to see your father struggle and know that he's a good person, and how it feels for your other side of the family to talk about them, talk about your dad, and you know how your dad is because he comes around when they don't know about it. He has to sneak to come see us, and he gives us money in our pocket when we didn't have no money in our pocket. He left, presents and food on our doorsteps, you know what I'm saying?
Go to Fresno State. That's the college I'm looking forward to going to. My parents, I was pretty much raised all the way up together, like 12, 13, and then they had a divorce. I really feel like, it's one thing to say that you forgive, but do you really forgive? Because love is an action. Forgiveness is an action. Obeying is an action. And I bring up the word action because it's easy to speak words, but that's like me saying I love you, but does my actions show that I love you? You know what I'm saying? It takes action. Like, you can easily say one thing but mean another. And I just feel like I don't know why I just don't understand. We're 30 years old, and I don't know why my mom's still holding on to my father. She sees how much he's suffering. I hate that. I hate it. And I promise whoever's watching this, I'm not taking my dad's side. I just know right from wrong. I see right from wrong.
And from there, my mother just decided to pick up the pieces, because right before then, when I was first born, my father had left. He had decided to say I wasn't his son. He said that I wasn't his blood. So after he signed the papers, because they needed to release it to somebody, he left. And I haven't seen him since.
So he relinquished all rights to you, right?
No, he signed the birth certificate, but the day right after, he denied me the son, and then just left.
I see.
So he never relinquished any right? And he's the kind of guy who would sign everything with a fake name, because he didn't want anybody to find out exactly where he was or who he was.
Anyways, I like to say that, you know, I think I'm one of the lucky ones, you know. Okay, I think, you know, my opportunity to have a good family was great. You know, I met my wife very young, you know, and I was with her for like 8 years before I even thought about having a kid, you know. So I think that's like the basic right there. It's just building that relationship with your girl and your wife, you know. So you go into that next challenge, which is getting married, having a kid, you know, makes it that much easier. Not saying that we don't have bumps, you know, every marriage has bumps, but I think when your marriage is good, you're able to be good parents, you know, so.
Was actually ordered to pay child support in the beginning. She didn't pay for about 3 years, and it was a small amount, only about $111 a month. She didn't pay for 3 years. We went back to court. She ended up getting more time with the kids, and then I was hit with this huge amount of child support just kind of out of the blue. So it drastically changed my life and what I'm able to provide for my kids when they're with me. So I think it just really just puts men in a bad situation. Like, why would the kids want to spend this time with their father if they can't do anything, they can't do any outings, any trips? And that's one of the hardest part about it, knowing I have to budget everything. Even when it comes to food, I think about, you know, what can I spend, what can I spend?
It's going to be a little rough, man. Yeah.
I was raised pretty much by a single mother in a single household. Brought up pretty much like that my entire life. My father was around, though he wasn't in the house. I was with him pretty much every other weekend, like a lot of other stories, a lot of other children that came up, especially being African American, a male. I always deemed it very important for me to have a male role model around me in my life. And luckily for me, I had an older brother at the time, which we were 15 years apart. So that helped me have that mentor, that father-like support in my life, as well as other parental figures, stepfathers, and like I said, even my own dad was in my life. Other than that,
to be better parents, more effective parents, and not penalizing them, but supporting them.
By different programs?
A range of programs, parent participation programs, and my point of view is simple. It's a better use of taxpayers' money.
Yes, amen.
It's smarter.
That's right.
You can do more good with it. I'm telling you, it's expensive to do it on the back end. You want to know why the state of California's budget is so tough? Because they spend so much, the back